In South Korea, floods and landslides caused by heavy rains leave 37 dead and 9 missing. In Belgium, a list three Latin American leaders confirmed their attendance at the closing ceremony of the People's Summit to be held in parallel to the CELAC and European Union Summit starting on Monday. In Sudan, 1 in every 2 children are in urgent need of humanitarian assistance caused by the 3-month armed conflict, according to the UN report released on Tuesday. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Rosabal from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Protest continues in Guatemala against a judicial decision to suspend the Semilla Movement Party after being elected to participate in the presidential runoff next August 20. On Sunday, several groups and social organizations gathered in front of the main headquarters of the Public Ministry for the 4th consecutive day. The demonstrators demand the resignation of both Attorney General Consuelo Porras and the head of the Special Prosecutor against Impunity, Rafael Curruchiche, following the request of temporary suspension of the Semilla Movement Party. The 7th Criminal Court ordered the temporary suspension of Semilla's legal status. However, the Constitutional Court granted the political organization a provisional injunction, allowing it to participate in the presidential runoff next August. Next July 24th, teleSUR celebrates its 18th anniversary of continuous broadcasting. For this reason, teleSUR staff took a brief break and began the festivities with a 6-kilometer run and a 6-kilometer walk. The details in the following report.
Men and women, all important part of this communication multi-platform's day-to-day work. They met at Cotamil, one of the mainland routes that connects Caracas from west to east, to carry out sporting events the week prior to our 18th anniversary. This is the 8th edition of teleSUR's Race Walk, for men integration and camaraderie are essential in this type of event.
Excellent. It is my first time here in teleSUR and it is very good. Well organized, good colleagues, good atmosphere, everything was great. Excellent.
It was something very different from what we do every day, and we should do things like this way more often.
It was too good. It was not my best run, but next will surely be. I really like the event.
teleSUR's president thanked the efforts of all the people involved in the organization of the event, which is the first in a series of activities aimed at consolidating camaraderie among all the staff members.
Once again, we walked, ran, shared, met, had a good time together and recognized each other to commemorate our 18th anniversary, for which we have prepared several activities. Since the beginning of a series of events designed to gather, share, as I said, and recognize each other. I would like to thank all of those who worked in the organization. We have made great efforts to become a strong community again, one that works and accomplishes any imaginable goal.
They crossed the finish line with enthusiasm. Jose Pradas from the platform department made a 20-minute race to win among the men, and Betsabeth Blancos from the security department won the women's race.
One needs to run fast to have good results in a fast race. This was a memorable reunion, and hopefully we will continue to rescue all the games and sports here at teleSUR.
I trained 3 months for this foreign well. It paid off as suspected.
Runners agreed that integration, camaraderie, and peace these sporting events generate are more important than any medal.
Yarlenis Rosales y Jesús Romero, teleSUR, Caracas, Venezuela.
In South Korea, floods and landslides caused by heavy rains leave 37 dead and 9 missing. The Central Headquarters for Safety and Disaster Relief reported the death toll at 37 with 9 people still missing, while thousands have been evacuated for their homes. In several cities region to the damage caused by heavy rains. A total of 419 cases of damage to public and private property have been reported, including 80 cases of destroyed roads, cases of overflowing rivers, and 82 cases of flooded houses. Nearly 9,000 people in 14 cities and provinces have evacuated their homes, including 2,000 in North Gyeongsang province, and of them, 5,000 have yet to return home due to security concerns. Authorities said, adding that the heavy rains had also closed 220 roads. In Peru, the Ubinas volcano located in Moquegua registered in the early hours of Sunday morning new explosions accompanied by emissions of ash. According to information provided by the Geophysical Institute of Peru and replicated by the National Institute of Civil Defense, in the last 24 hours, ash emission reached a dispersion radius of more than 10 kilometers. Likewise, there is evidence of a continuous ash dispersion towards the east, south, and southeast sectors. In view of the situation, the authorities recommended the population to stay away from the area of the event, to cover the nose, mouth, and eyes, and to keep doors and windows closed. Meanwhile, the National Emergency Operations Center continues to carry out constant monitoring in coordination with regional and local authorities. Southern Chinese provinces are recalling ships to port and suspending some ferry and railway services amid warnings of strong wind and heavy rain caused by the approaching typhoon Talim. According to Hainan Meteorological Service, Talim is expected to come ashore on the coast of Guangdong province as well as the island province of Hainan on Monday evening. Currently classified as a severe tropical storm, Talim is predicted to strengthen into a typhoon or a severe typhoon even landfall. On Sunday morning, the Hainan Meteorological Service upgraded the emergency response for typhoons from level 4 to level 3, predicting intense rainstorm from Sunday on. Hainan has warned ships operating in nearby seas to return to ports ahead of time to find shelter from the wind. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English where you find news in different formats, new dates, and more. All the studies coming up, stay with us. Welcome back. In Belgium, at least 3 Latin American leaders confirmed their attendance at the closing ceremony of the People's Summit to be held in parallel to the CELAC and European Union Summit starting on Monday. The President of Colombia, Gustavo Petro, of Argentina, Alberto Fernandez, and of Bolivia, Luis Arce, confirmed their participation in the closing ceremony of the People's Summit at the European Parliament. The People's Summit is promoted by Social Democrats and Green European deputies, as well as representatives of left-wing groups and social organizations from Europe and Latin America. The participants will meet under the idea of advancing towards a new international order based on multilateralism. The Latin American leaders are also arriving to participate in the CELAC and European Union summits being held in the city of Brussels. Preparations are underway in Belgium for the summit between the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC, and the European Union. The meeting will begin on Monday with a gathering of representatives from 60 countries seeking to strengthen and modernize cooperation relations after 8 years without an event of this kind. The working delegations arrived in Brussels in advance to negotiate a declaration that is expected to be approved at the end of the summit on Tuesday. Among the points still under discussion are the common position in relation to the conflict in Ukraine and the measures to mitigate the effects of climate change. In Thailand, citizens took to the streets to protest against senators for not respecting the will of the voters and not electing Pitali Rat as Prime Minister. The demonstrators marched from the Monument to Democracy to the Center of Art and Culture in Bangkok, the capital of the country, in favor of democracy and to show the rejection of senators' blockade. These citizens also demanded the resignation of the senators who abstained and voted against Pitali Rat, who was supported by only 13 of them. In view of this, PITA only obtained 324 votes, 51 less than the number needed to be appointed Prime Minister. Those mobilized warned that they would intensify protests if the second parliamentary vote, scheduled for Wednesday, July 19, fails to install the candidate support by majority coalition. The South Asian country reported 1,623 new cases of dengue fever in a 24-hour period on Saturday, the highest number of hospitalizations for mosquito-borne disease in a single day this year. More than 11,000 dengue fever patients have been hospitalized in Bangladesh in the first half of July. During the period from July 1st to 15, 7 more dengue deaths were reported, bringing the number of dengue deaths to 100 over the course of the year 2023. Of these new patients, 1,168 were admitted to the hospitals in Dhaka and the rest outside Dhaka. A total of 100 dengue patients, including 3,000 in the capital, are now being treated in hospitals across the country. Russian air defense system and many forces repelled a drone attack on the port city of Sevastopol on the Crimean Peninsula and the main base of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. Sevastopol Governor Mikhail Razotsayabev was the first to report the failed attack on the social networks. Later, the defense minister presented a report on the incident, stated that the anti-aircraft defenses shot down 2 Ukrainian drones over the city a great distance from the coast, and 5 more crashed. The coasts were detected and destroyed 2 unmanned boats of the Ukrainian armed forces in the north of the Black Sea. The defense agency reported that there were no casualties or material damage as a result of the failed attack. Russian President Vladimir Putin reported that the counter-offensive campaign announced by Ukraine has failed in all his clashes against Russian forces. Putin warned that all the Ukrainian attempts to break the Russian defense have been unsuccessful. He also spoke very optimistically about the course of the special military operation and assured that the Russian troops are heroically taking over the most advantageous positions. The Russian special operation began on February 24, 2022, and according to the Russian authority, it is aimed at defending the population of republics of Donetsk and Lugansk. Within the framework of this operation, the Russian forces have reported that they have taken control of Zaporizhia and Kherson regions. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, sub-stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's more recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. In Sudan, 1 in every 2 children are in urgent need of humanitarian assistance caused by the 3 months of armed conflicts, according to UN reports released on Tuesday. The UN Children's Fund, UNICEF, reported that about 1.5 million children are living away from home since the fight between Sudanese armed forces and rapid support forces broke out on April 15th, although some are still in Sudan. UNICEF Sudan has provided sanitation supplies to more than 3 million children and women and safe drinking water to 1.4 million people. Humanitarian crisis is further deepened in the country, with the ongoing conflict showing no sign of de-escalation. So far, more than 3,000 people have been killed and 6,000 injured due to the conflict. According to UNICEF, over 2.9 million people have been displaced across Sudan and into neighboring countries. A large number of Sudanese refugees who arrived in Libya fleeing fighting in the country are still living in makeshift shelters. Refugees eat on the streets when many people offer them and lack medical care. Meanwhile, they try to call the attention of the United Nations, asking it to pay attention to their problems. Sudan has been rocked by violence since April 15, when tensions between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces erupted into open clashes. The conflict has killed more than 3,000 people, according to UN data, although the actual number of casualties is likely to be much higher, according to doctors and activists.
Thank God we arrived in Libya safely. We were suffering in Sudan. We fled the war. We had arrived here on the 3rd of May, and when we went to the UNHCR, they did not care about us. They did not even notice our presence. We eat from the streets. Some people feed us while we are on the streets. We want the United Nations to pay attention to our problems. We want them to provide us with some shelter. We as Sudanese refugees have come here to apply for asylum, and we do not want to stay here in Libya. We only ask for asylum from organizations. We want to go anywhere safe.
A large-scale fire destroyed dozens of homes and stores in Damascus, the capital of Syria. According to the Damascus Fire Department, the disaster occurred as a result of this year's first heat wave, and currently affecting most of the Syrian provinces with temperatures over 45 Celsius degrees in some areas. The brigade detailed that there was only material damage and no human loss since they evacuated many of the devastated houses in time. For the time being, dozens of firefighters supported by more than 15 vehicles are still working to control the fire in forest areas in the northwestern provinces of Latakia and Hama. The governments of India and the United Arab Emirates agreed to trade settlements in their local currencies. On an official visit to Abu Dhabi, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, during which the Reserve Bank of India and the Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates signed two memorandums of the rupee and the trading in cross-border transactions. The agreements legalize the interconnection of the payment and messaging system of the banking institution of both countries and cover all permitted current, account, and capital transactions. The parties also forged new ties in the educational sphere with a memorandum of understanding to establish a campus of Indian Institute of Technology in the Gulf nation. On Sunday, China launched its second C-919 aircraft. The Asian giant accelerated its commercial exploitation of Latai's commercial aircraft. The aircraft flew from Shanghai Pudong International Airport and arrived at Shanghai Hongqiao International Airport. This is the second of 5 C-919 aircraft acquired by China Eastern Airlines from the Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China Ltd. The developer of the C-919, with 88 businesses and 156 economy class seats, the single-aisle boasts several passenger-friendly features, including a 2.25-meter-high aisle roof and fold-down overhead bins. The new aircraft will join the first in service on China's Eastern Airlines Shanghai Hongqiao Chengdu Tuanfu route and will gradually fly on more routes. As of July 12, the airline's first C-919 has served 11,000 passengers on 87 commercial flights. We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For Telesur English, I'm Alena Rosabal. Thank you for watching.